This anime started with a boy named Lenka Otsugi who was doing a test. As a novice God Eater candidate, he was then used as an experiment with a new, more sophisticated type of God Arc. Lenka was fitted with an oracle bracelet that channeled origami power, which would provide harmony with God Arc. He was able to pass the test.
対荒神討伐部隊我々はまた一歩僕は自覚すべき自然エネルギーが枯渇未来の人々へ送る荒神と同じ細胞がことはできない荒神を期待しているよオラクルインストおめでとう次蓮華君合格だ
At the same time, it was confirmed that origami had infiltrated and breached Fenrir's steel walls. Unit 2 was immediately ordered to go to the scene to deal with the problem. Lenka and his friend Fujiki Koda wanted to go there to help. However, because they were still rookies on the team, their priority was to train and make themselves stronger, as stated by Major Amamiya. In his training, Lenka showed significant strength, but in the end, he always failed and died by origami's projection. He got the same results repeatedly despite having above-average strength and endurance. Taking a short break, Koda and Lenka visited the God Art workshop led by Kusunoki Lika. Lenka was shocked by the information that the new God Art prepared for him was ready for use. Origami was confirmed by Fenrir steel walls in areas A and B the next day. However, the God Eater troops were on a mission in another area, so none of the units could arrive there on time. Not wanting to give up on the conditions, Lenka dared to go there. However, he could not leave until he disobeyed Major Amamiya's orders. Lenka's debut began in his first fight. On the battlefield, there were many casualties on the part of civilians and God Eaters. His arrival did not bring major changes because his skills were still beginner. Luckily, the elite squad consisting of Lindo Amamiya as captain, Soma Shixel and Sakuya Takabana arrived at the right time and eradicated origami one by one. Seeing a mother about to be eaten, Lenka activated his new power, shocking everyone. This was their first time seeing a new type of God Arc. At the same time, a high-level origami, commonly referred to as vajra, came and attacked them all. Lenka was overwhelmed by the enemy in front of him. Their friend Eric der Vogelwade was rescued after he withdrew to safety. As a senior God Eater, Sakuya guided Lenka in battle. However, his carelessness was hit by an electric attack from Vajra, which made him immediately unconscious. He was dying and was immediately taken for treatment. As a result of his defiance, Lenka was imprisoned and awaits trial by God Eater's superiors. Lindo came to his cell and explained that his team had defeated Vajra. However, Eric had to die because he helped Lenka, whom origami almost ate. Lenka, who heard this, was shocked. Eric was officially buried with God Eater honors at the end of his life. One afternoon, one of the God Eaters, a new type of God Arc user, was sent from Russia to the unit named Alisa Ilnichina Amiela. However, on her journey, Alisa encountered origami, who attacked her plane. To anticipate this, Major Amamiya sent her plane for help. Lindo, Sakuya, and Lenka, who were in detention, were also deployed there due to a lack of people. Lenka was given a second chance to prove himself useful. Meanwhile, Alisa did not remain silent in facing the condition of her plane, which was attacked. They departed accompanied by a military helicopter. When they arrived, they were surprised to see Alisa's plane surrounded by origami. Their objective was to pick up Alisa and leave the plane. However, Alisa refused to be picked up by force, so like it or not, Lindo and the others were forced to help Alisa to protect the plane. Alisa seemed to have mastered her weapon as a new type of God Arc user. She could use various modes without any difficulty at all. Because the attacks keep coming, Lindo, Sakuya, and Lenka decide to go to Alisa's plane. Lenka, who was sent to pick up Alisa, was battered because he forced Alisa to come with him. Alisa didn't want to go because there were a lot of plane crew there injured. After seeing this, Lenka, Lindo, and Sakuya decided to save Alisa and her team until they reached Fenrir's headquarters. Lenka and Alisa were assigned to attack the evolved origami. Sakuya served as the backup for the plane's rear, and the rest was handed over to Lindo, the captain. They attacked the attack with epic cooperation. Lenka also used his new weapon mode that he had just seen from Alisa. Not wanting to be outdone by her rival, Alisa showed off her skills with her new type of weapon. In the end, after a long struggle, all origami were neutralized from the plane area. However, on their way back to base, they were surprised by the appearance of a giant origami named Ouroboros. So the helicopter they traveled in was used as diversionary bait for their safety. Johannes von Schicksal, the highest director of the Fenrir branch of God Eater, welcomed Alisa's arrival. They were then formed into a team that would enter the first unit under the leadership of Captain Lindo, with Deputy Leader Sakuya and another member, Soma. To protect humans, the God Eater built a giant project called Aegis. In the future, this place would be a refuge for people from all over the world. In its construction, many origami cores were needed to complete the work quickly. In this way, the main goal of the God Eaters was to collect as many origami cores as possible so that the project Aegis could be completed quickly. The next day, the first unit was sent to find origami core. Their mission was to obtain the core of origami Boro. Their team was divided into several groups. They were slowly able to collect their mission objectives well. However, Kota, who was still a beginner, became a burden because his determination almost caused him to die by origami. Lenka also looked overwhelmed in his fight. However, in the end, the mission was successfully carried out and gathered several origami cores. On their way back, they encountered a group of civilians outside the walls. So they helped the civilians and brought them inside the walls of Fenrir. However, because their test results were negative, inevitably, they had to be expelled and were not allowed to return within the walls. Lenka, who wanted to stop the guards, was stopped by Lindo because they had no choice but to obey the rules of Fenrir's walls. Truly inhumane rules to protect some people desperately seeking shelter. Even in his dreams, Lenka continued to remember the person who was expelled earlier, because Lenka also came from outside the walls and it felt the same way. The difference was that he passed the tests and was accepted by Fenrir's walls. He then learned that the Aegis project was only 0.06% complete. He didn't want to waste any more time so the project could be completed quickly. This made him and Alisa ask for approval to target the vajra-type origami to have a larger core, and the project Aegis could be completed quickly. Led by Sakuya, each member worked together until an incident occurred. They found many civilians being chased by the vajra, which eventually drove them into a corner, plus the appearance of a black vajra, which preyed on other vajras. In Alisa's memory, a black vajra named Diaspita was the mastermind behind the death of her parents. This made her act rashly and fight alone against him. As a result, their team couldn't do anything because their strength was far behind. Lenka couldn't do anything, and even his god Ark was destroyed instantly in front of the vajra, which was preying on civilians. Almost hit by the vajra attack, fortunately, they fell into the river and survived the precarious situation. Sakuya and Kota were able to survive the attack. They then asked for help from the main headquarters to find the whereabouts of their missing subordinates. After being swept away into the river, Alisa was cared for by Lenka, even though he was not in good condition. They had to take cover from the presence of the origami outside while waiting for help to arrive. Alisa then took her turn caring for Lenka with the severe wounds on his body. At the same time, Alisa discovered an origami attack that came suddenly. Bad memories made Alisa unable to fight back against origami, so Lenka and Alisa decided to escape through the window. It was discovered that Lenka's god Ark had died because he did not see the reaction given by god Ark. The two hid as best they could and defended themselves against incoming attacks while looking for the missing god, Ark Alisa. However, when Alisa managed to find her weapon, she still couldn't fight because she remembered when the black vajra Pita killed her parents. Lenka, who had no other choice, had to give up and surrender. Luckily, help arrived and Lindo eradicated all origami there. While waiting for help, they took shelter in a village by an artificial origami tree developed by Lindo. Lenka also met the child he once met and expelled from the walls of Fenrir. The residents in it were outcasts who were not accepted within the walls of Fenrir. They took refuge there thanks to the help of Lindo, who planted origami trees around the village. However, a large origami like vajra could penetrate it easily, so Lindo had to take care of it. Meanwhile, Lenka helped protect the residents from other origami who attacked. Alisa could still not fight due to trauma, which made Lenka and the villagers work together to fight origami, with Lenka's strategy namely luring origami into the lake and washing it through the dam. Almost failing to continue his plan, a miracle came to Lenka, where god Ark, who was thought to be dead, was able to come back to life due to the trigger he got from origami ammunition. This could reverse the situation and origami could be drowned and floated down the dam. All residents finally survived thanks to the cooperation that existed between all of them. On July 2, 2071, they were able to return to headquarters Far East Branch. Alisa then received mental treatment from her doctor's assistant. Lenka and Alisa were temporarily relieved of their duties from Unit 1. Lenka's God Arc was then repaired by Lika and Darpaler Sakaki, who was the creator and the founder of the God Arc. According to him, the reason Lenka's God Arc broke was because of the high compatibility between Lenka and his weapon. In the next mission, Sakuya and her team were assigned eradicating origami in a stadium. However, they were trapped underground and could not get out. In this situation, Lenka, who knew the geographic location, took control of the radio and guided them away from origami's pursuit. He created a strategy that could cause origami to be surrounded from the front and back so that they could get out of the place and eradicate origami at the same time. Unit 1 thanked Lenka and also the captain Sakuya. Not stopping at that mission, Johans launched another mission. Each team must install a beacon that could lure origami so that they could kill them. Meanwhile, Lindo infiltrated Aegis and found something surprising inside. It turned out that Project Aegis was not a project that saved humanity, but rather the creation of large-scale origami that would exterminate humans. Go back several years before the appearance of the first origami in the world. The Earth was destroyed and became desolate. Origami appeared everywhere and created destruction on a large scale. To deal with the inflation occurring, the researchers, consisting of Sakaki, Johans, and Soma's mother, then created weapons to fight origami. However, because harmony between origami weapons and humans was needed, an experiment was necessary to unify origami and humans. Finally, Soma's mother, pregnant at that time, stepped forward to become a volunteer. His mother died in the experiment while Soma was born safely. This was where Soma got the nickname Shinigami because he killed his mother and several researchers who were there. Elsewhere, Lenka discovered that he could use his God Arc, but at a very high risk. His lifespan would be shorter and his death was expected to occur 3 years later. The choice for Lenka was to retire or remain a God Eater at the cost of his life. Meanwhile, the meteorite mission would soon be implemented and 5 people would be selected as mission leaders, including Lenka. Lenka continued to move forward despite facing serious problems with his destiny in life. With a repaired God Arc, Lenka went to the location with his crew and team to install origami transmitting beacon. However, this did not go smoothly because origami appeared from every side and almost destroyed the beacon that had been built. Soma went down to face them all alone and intended to commit suicide. However, Lenka came and helped him, and in the end, origami were eradicated. Elsewhere, Professor Johans had evil intentions, and he asked Alisa's psychiatrist to brainwash her, so that later, Alisa could kill Lindo, who was caught infiltrating the Project Aegis. On the other hand, Lenka intended to remain a God Eater, even if it meant sacrificing his life. With this decision, Professor Sakaki continued the incomplete repairs to the God Arc. The next scene showed Lenka Otsuji's childhood as an adopted child. He was taken in by a family outside Fenrir's walls who were unable to enter due to failing a test. His family survived in miserable and deprived conditions. He and his half-sister, Iroha Otsuji, who knew their mother was sick, planned to look for medicine outside. But the origami attacked and almost killed them both. Lindo came and helped them and took them back to the settlement. He offered a test to Lenka's family so their children could enter Fenrir and their lives could be guaranteed. After some time, Lenka's stepmother died. The area where they lived was invaded by origami, causing their father to be crushed by a building and eventually died. Iroha, who was hit by an origami attack on her leg, finally decided to commit suicide because she didn't want to burden her brother on the journey. She also revealed that they were not siblings. Lenka's dark period made him determined to kill the origami to realize the future his family hoped for him. Back to the future during a meteorite mission, Alisa returned to duty, but her facial expression and behavior had changed. Alisa seemed to have been successfully brainwashed by her psychiatrist ordered by Johans. Lenka was chosen as head of the mission for the second time because he was deemed to have made enough contributions to the previous mission. Each unit was placed in a planned location. Unit 1 carried out the first attack and most origami were killed. In the second phase, each team also carried out the attack to eradicate the remaining origami. However, Vajra headed towards Lindo's unit for unknown reasons. Each unit did its best to stop the oncoming origami. However, due to a shortage of people, Lenka was sent there to help. His God Arc would be sent immediately to the battlefield. On the Lindo unit area battlefield, he alone fought against the many vajras that surrounded him. Coming at the right time, Lenka got off the helicopter and found his God Arc ready to be used in battle. He easily eradicated many vajras with his improved God Arc. Diaz Pita, the Vajra mutant, had also arrived there. Unlike other vajras, it was very intelligent and had high resistance to God Ark's attacks. Ultimately, Unit 1 must work together to deal with the Dias Peta that appeared. However, because Alisa was brainwashed, the team formation was damaged and almost endangered them all. Fortunately, after Lenka's words and advice, Alisa regained consciousness and tried to help her team, trapped by origami trees. Due to the unfinished mission, Lindo decided to fight Peta alone. He left his friends to stop Vajra troops that were still running. Even though Sakuya did not want to leave him because the people she loved had to sacrifice for humanity. From the findings discovered by Professor Sakaki, origami apocalypse would end one day if origami had eaten each other and other creatures. Until they all died, the Earth would return to an uninhabited period. When they arrived at the front line, Lenka and his friends were surprised by Peta's presence. Between its teeth was an oracle bracelet, which indicated that Lindo died at Peta's hands. From here, Major Amamiya realized that traitors had infiltrated the God Eater unit. As was known, it was their superiors who betrayed and devastated the God Eater troops. Sakuya immediately became depressed when she saw Lindo's bracelet. As a result, the team formation became divided because Sakuya, as the deputy unit leader, and her members attacked blindly. In this crisis, Lenka decided to take over the team and bring help from the villagers. Even though the sadness was still ongoing, Lenka tried to encourage them to continue moving forward because Lindo had fought for the survival of humanity. Once again, they tried to advance to face Peta and Vajra troops, who appeared at the same time. After finding a weak point in Vajra's wings, Lenka mobilized all his remaining strength and gave a maximum counterattack. However, because of Vajra's rapid regeneration, the situation quickly turned around. From there, Lenka's friends discovered that Lenka was suffering from oracle celeration, which caused Lenka only to have 3 years left to live. After the evolution obtained by Lenka's sword, he could finally deliver the ultimate attack. Dias Peta Vajra could be killed right at the core of his body. As a result, parts of Lenka's body appeared blackened due to Oracle's erosion, making him faint instantly. In the lab, Professor Johannes received a report that Lindo had died exactly as agreed. Instead, he wanted himself to be included in a rocket out to go to space that would save humanity. From here, Johannes revealed that the Project Aegis was just an alibi. He did not create a protective shelter for humans, but only transported 1,000 selected humans to be taken into space. They would leave the Earth and wait for the planet to be destroyed by origami until finally origami died by itself. To speed up Origami Doomsday Project, Johannes created a giant origami so that all creatures living on Earth could be quickly destroyed. In the end, humans who survived the rocket would return to Earth and start civilization from point zero. Professor Sakaki, who heard this, refused to follow his friend's request. He still believed in miracles that would occur, and that humanity would survive without sacrificing each other. Their activities then returned to normal. Not long after the erosion on Lenka's body was cured, Lenka was promoted to captain, replacing Lindo. At the end of the scene, a silhouette of a person was shown, where there was also cigarette smoke, shoes, and Lindo's God Arc, which seemed to have been saved by someone. With these clues, it could be estimated that Lindo was still alive because of someone's help. This is the end of God Eater. Thank you to keep watching the content from this channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest contents. See you in the next video.